Hi everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today to share the incredible work we're doing at AMD for gamers. By now you've all heard about our upcoming Ryzen 5000 series processors, the world's best gaming processors featuring our brand new Zen 3 architecture. And you've heard about our new Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards designed for exceptional gaming performance by harnessing our next generation RDNA2 architecture. When we designed our Ryzen 5000 series and our Radeon RX 6000 series products, we did so with the vision of not just how each of these components could excel individually, but also how these technologies could work together to define the ideal gaming platform for DIYers and system builders alike. Being the only company in the world that designs and develops both high-performance CPUs and GPUs, we challenged ourselves to deliver something exceptional when these technologies would be combined. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. How AMD set out and accomplished in developing the ultimate gaming platform. We set out on a mission to design such a platform in ways that only AMD can. First, I'm going to share with you how we've unlocked even greater performance when you combine a Ryzen 5000 series processor with a Radeon RX 6000 series graphics card. Next, I'm going to show you how we're continuing to improve your gameplay experience beyond just increasing frames per second. Finally, I'll show you how we optimize the design of this platform for everyone, whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or a system builder. Let me start by talking to you about how we're maximizing performance on our platform with the combination of these products. Or in other words, how the platform's performance adds up to a whole that is greater than the sum of the parts themselves. We approach this mission by capitalizing on the fact that only AMD has all of the core components that gamers rely on every day. Specifically, high-performance CPUs and chipsets, incredible graphics, and the technology and software to drive and connect all of these to operate best together. At the Consumer Electronics Show earlier this year, I shared with you how we refer to this as the Amd Advantage. And if you saw our announcements at the show, you may recall that we introduced a new feature for laptops called AMD Smart Shift. Smart Shift allows AMD mobile CPUs and GPUs to seamlessly shift power between them to boost performance as your games and applications demand. Smart Shift is a transformative technology for laptops, and today I'm excited to be able to take the covers off of another AMD Advantage technology that we've been working on, but this time it's for the PC platform where it all began for me, desktops. We call it AMD Smart Access Memory. This performance optimization technology gives a combination of AMD Ryzen 5000 series processors and AMD Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards additional levels of performance in games. We achieve this by letting the Ryzen CPU have full access to the high-speed GDDR6 memory of the Radeon RX 6000 series graphics card, and in exchange, accelerating performance of some of your favorite games and resulting in higher frame rates. So let's talk briefly about how it works. This isn't entirely a new technology. In fact, for years, the CPU has been able to leverage a small allocation of 256 megabytes of memory access from the GPU. Game developers use that for all sorts of data, including vertex buffers, polygon meshes, texture data, stencil buffer data, and geometry data. But up to now, PC game developers have been constrained to accessing only 256 megabytes of that graphics memory. Now, 17 years or so ago, this 256 megabyte configuration was fine, as the graphics memory available in cards back then was similar in size. But of course, technology has dramatically changed over time. Not only has the size of graphics memory increased significantly over the years, but gaming demands on the CPU have increased as well. For those tasks where the CPU accesses the data in GPU memory, a fixed memory aperture size of 256 megabyte can limit performance. AMD Smart Access Memory gets rid of that 256 megabyte limitation, widening the memory access aperture so that the CPU has access to the full capacity of the graphics memory. In the case of the Radeon RX 6800 series and the 6900 XT cards that we recently announced, we can now access up to their entire 16 gigabytes of high-speed GDDR6 memory. The larger memory aperture means the CPU makes less calls to memory, resulting in less overhead and providing for a nice performance boost in many games. But the best part is that AMD Smart Access Memory works with all Ryzen 5000 series processors and Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards. So let's take a look at the performance that you can expect when you have smart access memory enabled platforms. First, we'll start by showing how the Ryzen 5900X and the Radeon RX 6800 XT perform together before we turn AMD Smart Access Memory on. Now let's look at the uplift that Smart Access Memory contributes to frame rate. And we're just getting started. Now that this is possible, more game developers will take advantage of it, and we'll see increasing benefits over time. AMD Smart Access Memory will be available at launch, and it'll run automatically in the background with compatible hardware. All you need is a Ryzen 5000 series CPU, a Radeon RX 6000 series graphics card, and the latest 500 series AMD chipset motherboards. Now, let's talk about how we're improving the gaming experience on our platform, making your games feel smoother and more responsive. One of the key defining elements that makes a game feel slow or sluggish is input lag. Input lag is the time between when you perform an action, such as pressing a key on your keyboard, hitting a button on your controller or your mouse, or even just moving your mouse when you're playing a game, and when you see that response or action show up on the screen. As any gamer knows, increased lag makes you feel disconnected from the game, as it makes it harder for you to control your movements precisely. This especially makes a huge difference in highly competitive games. While the traditional way to reduce lag is to pursue higher frame rates, since higher FPS typically translates into reduced lag. That's been the traditional way to optimize, but it's not the only option. AMD actually has a history of introducing lag reduction technologies in hardware and software with Radeon. Several years ago, we introduced FreeSync, a variable refresh rate technology for quicker responses to the screen and smoother animation. FreeSync can now be found in over 1,200 different displays in the market. We also introduced reduced buffering in Radeon software, moving from triple buffering to double buffering for most games, and in exchange, removing another frame of latency. We also introduced Enhanced Sync, an alternative low-latency VSync mode offered in our Radeon software that combines reduced lag with minimal visual tearing. And last year, we introduced Radeon Anti-Lag with the Radeon RX 5000 series of graphics cards, a first-of-its-kind software feature that reduces lag by 85% of a single frame time by intelligently controlling the queuing of CPU work ahead of GPU work in DirectX 9 and DirectX 11 games. More recently, we introduced Radeon Boost, a unique feature in the Radeon software that's a step beyond anti-lag. For select games, Radeon Boost offers dynamic resolution in response to your mouse or controller inputs, leading to higher frame rates and, as a result, quicker responses to your input. Both Radeon Anti-Lag and Radeon Boost can be enabled via the Radeon software that comes with your graphics cards, and neither of them require a proprietary API or game integration to provide latency-reducing benefits. The effects of these technologies are substantial. Here we see what Radeon Anti-Lag can do to the experience of your games, delivering up to 32% faster response times. With Anti-Lag, your overall gaming experience feels faster, smoother, and much more responsive. And additionally, with Radeon Boost, we see dramatically higher frame rates resulting in more fluid and responsive gaming across many popular games, including some newly supported and highly competitive titles like Fortnite, where every frame counts. Radeon Boost can also deliver an even more dramatic reduction in input lag thanks to the higher frame rates it provides. Next, let me tell you about how we're optimizing the design of our platform. One of the things system designers understand, and certainly many of you who have ever built your own system know all too well, is that it can be challenging to build a cohesive, high-performance desktop PC where all the components work perfectly in concert with one another, where everything just fits right, where you have enough power for all your components, and where you can be sure that everything is being cooled properly and configured to perform at its full potential. Too often today, the makers of individual components are designing only around their own individual needs, and they aren't considering the impact their products have on the overall system, including DIYers and system builders trying to integrate them into their own builds. With CPUs, graphics cards, and chipsets all within AMD, we had the opportunity to really think about how we can optimize each for the system's overall design. Not only to deliver superior performance, but to also provide for an easier integration and upgrading by everyone. So let's start by talking about size and power consumption. In designing the Radeon RX 6800 XT and 6900 XT, we approached the card's design thoughtfully and with you and your PC build in mind. That means that our cards are sized to the standard 10.5-inch board length that the industry has been using for years now. We did this intentionally to ensure that they would easily fit into a variety of cases already in your homes and on the market. After all, most of us just want to upgrade our graphics cards. We don't want to have to buy an entirely new case to fit it in. Additionally, the Radeon RX 6000 series occupies a max 2.5 slot width to fit in smaller form factors, and they even fit in a variety of external GPU enclosures out there in the market. And thanks to the incredible performance per watt efficiency of the RDNA 2 architecture, it enables us to deliver all this performance in a power profile that's best in class. But our consideration goes beyond the design of just the graphics cards themselves. We designed the entire platform thoughtfully to provide the best experience for gamers, DIYers, and system builders alike. Our next generation Ryzen processors and Radeon graphics cards are designed to all play better together. The Radeon RX 6000 series has a triple axial design for cool and quiet operation, and it features a 0 RPM mode when the fans aren't needed. While gaming, the cards run at a quiet and comfortable 37 decibels. As I explained earlier, you can see here that the graphics cards are sized to the standard 10.5-inch board length we've been accustomed to for years now, and to prevent interference with the rest of your build. We purposefully put the power connectors at the end of the card and facing the case's side panel to provide for simple connector accessibility and cable management. Also, there's no need to worry about special adapters to connect to the power supply, especially ones that are placed in any odd locations that can interfere with the aesthetic of your build. The thermal design has also been perfected to enable airflow through the case efficiently and with minimal impact to other components in your system, therefore enabling you to reuse all your other existing thermal management solutions. And we make upgrading to our platform easy. The Ryzen 5000 series processors simply drop into our AM4 socket 500 series chipset motherboards, and the Radeon RX 6800 graphics card is compatible with standard 650 watt power supplies. Our new Ryzen 5000 series processors have also been designed to fit within existing thermal envelopes to make use of your existing fans, heat sinks, and water blocks. You can just swap them in and see immediate benefit without any major rebuilds being required. No matter what size system you want to build, standard ATX, micro ATX, or even external GPU enclosures, we've made upgrading easy for you. As you can see, we've spent a lot of time optimizing the design of the entire AMD platform. We didn't design these new CPUs and GPUs in a vacuum, but rather we designed them by putting gamers first in every decision that we made. We looked at the entire solution, and we've delivered an uncompromising platform that provides not just incredible performance in games, but better thermals, acoustics, cable management, energy efficiency, and reusability overall. None of these decisions were easy to execute, but all of them were made in the best interest of our DIYers and system builders alike. We've also been working with various partners like EKWB on holistic water cooling designs to help level up and customize your AMD builds even further. And I'm proud to say that we have a long list of system builders around the world that'll be offering our new Ryzen 5000 series CPU and Radeon RX 6000 series GPU-based platform and solutions in the coming months. So there you have it. The Amd Advantage has empowered us to raise the bar like no other company before us ever has. We not only developed the best CPUs and GPUs for gamers, but we designed them to perform even better when they're paired together. We're also bringing you software features that further improve your gaming experience, such as Radeon Boost and anti-lag. And as you just heard, we put an enormous amount of thoughtfulness, care, and consideration for how you could easily upgrade to what is now without a doubt the ultimate gaming platform. To celebrate the launch of our new products, we've got something really cool to announce today. Fortnite is played by 350 million people around the world. I love playing this game with my kids, as we bond in it in competition, much like I did with my father over traditional sports when I was growing up. We wanted to create a new medium for you to be able to experience our new components, especially in this virtual world we're all living in. So we worked with the very talented team at Makes to create these 4 different Fortnite maps for you to play in. We're also giving away a bunch of cool new prizes if you engage with us in Fortnite. Check out amd.com/Fortnite to take part. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope to see you online soon and share a Battle Royale win together.
We started Zen from scratch, starting with a clean sheet of paper.
Zen turned out to be a grounds-up design, which doesn't come along very often. In the life of an engineer, you get to build something this significant once, twice, if you're lucky, 3 times in your lifetime. AMD enables the engineers to go off and innovate and to bring to market what it is that they dream about.
I'm extremely pleased to show you for the first time the name of our new CPU. Now it's time for you to see Ryzen in action. We wanted to disrupt the PC market. We wanted to bring innovation, choice, and performance to as many people as possible. In high-performance PCs, it was about delivering more performance at every single price point.
The Ryzen Threadripper acknowledges that there are people who want to create and game on the same PC and need the scalability and need the performance to do that. And that's what's really exciting about the Threadripper chip.
It was our commitment to our customers that we would deliver to the roadmap that we set out, and momentum is now on our side.
The anticipation around 3rd Gen Ryzen is really impressive. Meet the world's first 16-core gaming processor.
Now, in 2019, 3rd Gen Ryzen is it.
What we did in Zen was push well beyond what we thought we could do. It makes me so proud to be able to look back and say that I was part of that.
Our mission with Ryzen has always been clear. It's about making the right bets 3 to 5 years in advance and making sure that they come to fruition. Our goal is to give you the best. Welcome, everyone. Big welcome to all of you, and thank you all for joining us today. I've been looking forward to this moment all year, and I know many of you have too. It's been a challenging year for everyone as we've navigated the COVID-19 pandemic globally. But one thing we've learned is just how important high-performance computing technologies really are. From work to school to gaming to entertainment, the PC is now the computing platform of choice in 2020. And I'm really excited to show you today what we have been working on for the next-gen PC platforms, and especially for all of you gamers. Now, it's already been an incredible year for gamers. There's so much excitement around the next-gen consoles. We are so proud to power the new Sony PlayStation 5 with a high-performance custom chip featuring our AMD Ryzen CPU and AMD Radeon GPU technology. And we are equally proud that custom AMD processors also power the new Microsoft Xbox Series X and Series S consoles, again, featuring our high-performance Ryzen and Radeon technologies. These consoles are bringing just incredible technology to gamers all over the world and are really a result of just deep engineering partnerships over many, many years with both Sony and Microsoft. Now, gaming is at the heart of so much of what we do at AMD. Whether you're talking about PCs or consoles or cloud gaming and mobile. AMD loves gaming, and we like to say gaming begins with AMD. So today, we're going to talk specifically about our next-gen PC gaming platform. So let's talk a little bit about Ryzen. Now, you guys know we brought the first generation of Ryzen to market in 2017. And we actually had one goal. It was to build the best PC desktop processor possible. Now, we knew we wouldn't get there in one step, but with each generation of Ryzen, it's gotten better. And we focused on how do we deliver more performance? How do we deliver the best features? And how do we give more capabilities to all of you PC enthusiasts so that you can do more than you ever thought with your desktop or in your notebook? And we've made great, great progress. We started with Ryzen in desktops, and then we introduced Ryzen Threadripper in high-end desktops. And now, actually, Ryzen is in many amazing notebook systems with our Ryzen 4000 series. I think it's safe to say that AMD loves the PC, and I think also it's safe to say that PC users love Ryzen. So we really appreciate that. Now look, let's just focus on the desktop for a few minutes. The progress we have made over the last few years has been really amazing. If you look at the market before Ryzen, the desktop PC was on sort of an incremental performance slope for the last many years. Now, over the past 3 years, we've significantly changed that trajectory and really completely reset expectations as we've gone from 1st gen Ryzen to 2nd gen, now to 3rd gen Ryzen. We were the first to launch a 7nm desktop processor, and today, 3rd gen Ryzen leads in so many areas. We're the highest in multi-threaded performance. We are the best in terms of power efficiency, and 3rd gen Ryzen is an absolutely great gaming processor. But as you know, we're really ambitious. So our work with Ryzen is never done. Our engineers have been on this maniacal focus of what can we do more? What can we do better? So today, we're here to talk about our brand new CPU core. You've all been waiting for it. It's all about Zen 3. And with Zen 3, we focused again on bringing the best to the PC market. I'm so proud of what we've accomplished. Zen 3 increases our lead in overall performance. It increases our lead in power efficiency. And also now, it delivers the best single-threaded performance and gaming performance as well. We've made massive changes in the core architecture, and I'm sure all of you want to know what's inside Zen 3. So let me hand it over to AMD CTO Mark Papermaster to give you all the details. Mark?
Well, thank you, Lisa. I couldn't be more excited than to share a little bit more about Zen 3 and our progression to get here. It's been quite a journey. We set a course over 5 years ago to design a family of high-performance x86 CPUs. Our goal, very simply, outright leadership. We set up the team so that development of multiple processor generations could be done in parallel, with designers leapfrogging from one generation to another. This has resulted in consistent delivery to the market as promised. I could not be more proud than to help unveil our 3rd generation of Zen Core debuting in Ryzen desktops this fall. It is a beast in performance and will deliver absolute leadership in the x86 market. Zen brought us back into high performance with a 52% improvement in instruction per clock in a single generation. It built a strong base for us to build upon as we developed the Zen family. Last year, Zen 2 brought double-digit % increase in instruction per clock and debuted 7nm in chiplet technology. That 7nm efficiency enabled leadership, multi-core performance, and core density. The innovative chiplet implementation allowed us ease of manufacturing with the small 7nm die and scalability to leadership core counts. And now Zen 3. Wow, what a great job by the design team to improve every aspect of the CPU, delivering leadership performance in that same 7nm node. Higher frequency, higher instruction per clock, with design improvements across all of the CPU components, and lower latency on top of that. You look at some of the key elements. There's a new layout of our processor that brings all the cores onto a unified 8-core complex, and that accelerates core-to-core communication. That's especially helpful for gaming workloads. That consolidation actually allows every core to directly access the 32 megabytes of L3 cache, and that dramatically accelerates workloads that are latency sensitive, like gaming. And finally, significant changes throughout the Zen 3 architecture, generating a 19% instruction per clock uplift. That's on top of the significant gains that we had just in the mid of last year with Zen 2. Altogether, Zen 3 is our most significant architectural update yet across the Zen family. We made the Zen 3 floating point and integer execution units wider, more flexible, and allows us to deliver more execution capability to the user at a lower latency. We've increased the number of loads and stores that we can do versus Zen 2, helping us feed those wider execution capabilities of Zen 3. We've added more branch prediction bandwidth. It allows Zen 3 to tackle back-to-back predictions much more quickly, reducing the delays. We call it zero bubble. These innovations keep Zen 3 ahead of the industry norm on generational improvements and position Zen 3-based Ryzen to be a clear desktop performance leader. Microprocessor performance engineering never has one single bullet. It takes focused microprocessor engineering. It's a broad set of improvements that are needed to make a great architecture. It takes innovation on all of the key levers. Zen 3 is a total front-to-back redesign. The microarchitecture had laser focus on performance on every element. End-to-end improvements, caching, load store, our execution units, our prefetching, our dispatch, our decode. Zen 2, in fact, had been organized with 2 4-core cache complexes, and it was tightly integrated. That was a very good design, but what we found is that we brought that together into that single unified cache core complex, that we brought that direct access to 32 megabytes of L3 cache rather than the 16 megabytes that we have with Zen 2. That direct access to a cache pool of this size is very significant for gaming. They tend to make frequent use, of course, of the memory subsystem, and in fact, many games have a dominant thread. And that makes especially heavy use of the cache, and that thread now sees effectively twice the L3 cache in Zen 3. So every core can now communicate directly to the cache without traversing across the die, and that reduces latency. And it stays synchronized for applications using AI, audio, physics, and more. You can see that we continue our relentless commitment to energy efficiency with every generation. We're always honing our design methodologies to focus on performance per watt, even as we make the processors faster for gamers. Zen 3 is no different, delivering up to 24% improvement in power efficiency versus the prior generation. That's double-digit performance per watt uplift in the same process node. And that's on top of all the architectural changes that we drove in to drive up the performance. Our commitment to energy efficiency across time has put us in the driver's seat. Today, we're more than 2.8x more efficient than competing high-end desktop processors. And that's only a strengthening of the leadership that we demonstrated during the prior Zen 2 era. We will not let up going forward. We're focused on execution. Zen 3 is shipping as promised, and the 5-nanometer Zen 4 on track, in design. The AMD team is hitting on all cylinders, and there's no shortage of innovations for the next generation of Zen processors to keep AMD in the forefront and deliver the best compute experience for our customers. Thank you, and let me welcome back Lisa to now show off our Zen 3 and new Ryzen processors.
Thank you, Mark. That was great. I'm so proud of what the team has accomplished with Zen 3. We really focused on what is most important for gamers and enthusiasts. And at 19% IPC increase, it's our largest increase generation over generation since we launched the Zen family. So now let's see Zen 3 in action. I'm so proud to show you for the very first time the AMD Ryzen 5000 series for high-performance PCs, the world's first Zen 3 powered CPU. This is the AMD Ryzen 9 5900X. 12 cores, 24 threads, and a boost up to 4.8 gigahertz. It's a very special product, the ultimate enthusiast processor. Compared to the 3900 XT, the 5900X has 19% higher IPC, higher clock speeds, and all of the Zen 3 core improvements that Mark talked about, all while remaining at 105 watts. This makes Ryzen 5900X a big upgrade from 3rd gen Ryzen all around, but especially in gaming. Now let me turn it over to Robert Halleck to show you the 5900X in action.
Thanks, Lisa. Hey everyone, let me give you a sense of just how much faster the 5900X is compared to our current best, the 3900 XT. To do that, we're going to use Shadow of the Tomb Raider, a game I personally love, and a game reviewers often look at to judge CPU performance. We're going to run the built-in benchmark here at 1080p using the high image quality preset on 2 otherwise identical systems. You can see a whopping 28% increase just by moving from the 39XT to the 5900X in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And as you will soon see, the performance from the 5900X is faster than the competing processors as well. Now, as any enthusiast knows, 28% from a processor change is a massive upgrade. But that's what AMD customers, like me, can look forward to. This truly demonstrates the gaming strength for Zen 3 when you combine the historic IPC uplift, unified cores, and unified cache pools. Now, as we zoom out to look at a wider set of games, you can see that the 28% uplift in Shadow of the Tomb Raider is joined by many titles with significant double-digit performance improvements. The gains are even bigger in titles like CS:GO and League of Legends, where the highest possible frame rate is practically the #1 priority to be competitive. Overall, gamers upgrading from the Ryzen 3000 series to the Ryzen 5000 series can expect an average performance improvement of 26% at 1080p. Again, this is just a monumental performance jump for an in-socket upgrade in the same motherboard, and a true testament for how good Zen 3 is in gaming. Now, as many know, strong gaming performance relies on strong single-core performance. That's exactly what Zen 3 has. And I want to show you using Cinebench R20 single-thread. There are many ways to assess single-thread performance, but Cinebench is a fast and easy tool that you can run at home. And it's one of the 25 workloads that we used to calculate the 19% improvement for Zen 3's instructions per cycle. As you can see, the 5900X is the first desktop processor to ever break a 600 score. And we don't break it by a little, we break it by a lot with a score of 631. We at AMD heard you loud and clear as you challenged us to continue investing in single-core performance, and the results speak for themselves. The combination of IPC, frequency, cores, and cache give AMD the fastest cores in the desktop market and give you the best possible gaming performance. So let's take that landmark core performance into a head-to-head battle. Across the same set of games you just saw, the AMD Ryzen 9 5900X is a clear winner at 1080p. As I promised you, AMD wins in Shadow of the Tomb Raider by +6, and is joined by many other games popular with reviewers and users like you. League of Legends and CS:GO are once again standout victories for the Ryzen 9 5900X. So that was a lot of data very quickly. Let's take a step back. Let's recap. You saw an average uplift of 26% for Ryzen customers upgrading from the 3000 series to the 5000 series. You just watched AMD deliver the highest single-core performance in the entire desktop PC market. And you just saw AMD clearly offer the best performance of any gaming processor on the market. I will put it plainly. We know that you're going to wait for benchmarks, but customers who buy processors purely for their gaming performance will absolutely want a Ryzen 9 5900X for the best possible PC gaming experience. Now let's bring Lisa back up to give you more details on these awesome gaming processors.
Thanks, Robert. That was fantastic. I hope you're all now convinced that the Ryzen 9 5900X is the best gaming processor in the world. Now let's look at the stack. In the 5000 series, we have a great choice for every gamer or PC enthusiast. In addition to the 5900X, we have the 5800X, an 8-core, 16-thread processor with boost frequencies up to 4.7 gigahertz at 105 watts. And we also have the 5600X, a 6-core, 12-thread CPU with boost frequencies up to 4.6 gigahertz at 65 watts. Now let's talk about price and availability. The 6-core 5600X is $299. The 8-core 5800X is $449, and the amazing 5900X, combining the leadership performance and power efficiency of Zen 3 in a 12-core 7nm design, is priced at $549. And all of these will be available globally on November 5th. We're really proud of the 5000 series, but you know we're not done. We love our enthusiasts, and there's one more processor in our stack, which is the ultimate processor for gaming and content creation. For those of you who want the very best processor in a desktop PC, we have the 16-core Ryzen 9 5950X. The 5950X is simply an amazing CPU. 16 cores, 32 threads, and our fastest processor with boost frequencies up to 4.9 gigahertz. The 5950X breaks the Cinebench R20 single-threaded record that Robert set just a few minutes ago with a score of 640. It is truly the best in class in every dimension. Best gaming performance meets best processor for content creation, and all of this still at 105 watts. Now let's take a look at some of the performance. If we look at the generational uplift from the 3950X to the 5950X, we see up to 27% more performance in CAD workloads and 12% more performance in rendering workloads. More impressively, we see up to 29% more gaming performance. And this is really how we bring the best of both worlds together. The best for gamers and the best for creators. And now, if you put 5950X against the top of the stack from the competition, we see that the 5950X provides up to 59% more creative performance in rendering workloads, double-digit wins in video editing and software compiling, and we also win in lightly threaded CAD workloads as well. We're really proud of the fact that we also win in gaming. There's nothing like the 5950X in the world. One processor that delivers the best power efficiency, our highest clock speeds, the highest single-core performance in the industry, and the highest multi-core performance of any gaming processor. And it's priced at $799 and will also be available globally on November 5th. I hope you're now as excited about AMD Ryzen 5000 series as I am. Zen 3 is really amazing, and I'm so happy we could show it to you today. But you guys send me a lot of notes and a lot of tweets, and I know that you're not just excited about Ryzen 5000 series, but there's a tremendous amount of enthusiasm and curiosity about our Radeon lineup as well. So the next few weeks are just an amazing time for us. In addition to introducing our Ryzen 5000 series, we're also going to introduce our next-gen Radeon GPU, and I want to give you a small preview of that today. This is the AMD Radeon RX 6000 series, which we now affectionately call Big Navi, thanks to many of you who nicknamed it for us. It is absolutely gorgeous and by far the most powerful gaming GPU we have ever built. We got a lot of requests from our fans on social, and I heard a whole conversation on The Full Nerd last week about wanting to see Zen 3 and Big Navi in action. So today, I'm going to show you a preview of what you can expect from AMD Ryzen 9 5900X and our Radeon 6000 series. We've been doing a tremendous amount of work optimizing gameplay with Ryzen 5000 and Radeon 6000 series. So let me show you today Borderlands 3, which is a very popular AAA title running at 4K resolution on the Ryzen 5900X and our Radeon 6000 series. Just take a look at that performance. Over 60 frames per second at 4K with beautiful image quality. We are super excited with what we've accomplished with Big Navi. In addition to Borderlands 3, here's a bit more of a performance preview on Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Gears of War 5 at ultra settings in 4K. And again, what you see is tremendous 4K performance across the board. We still have a few weeks until launch, and the team is working really hard on fine-tuning things. But I hope you're as excited as we are about what Ryzen 5000 series and Radeon 6000 series can do together for your next generation PC. So that brings us to the end. I hope you enjoyed today. It's been so much fun spending time with you. We have a lot more to show you later this month, so join us again on October 28th, where we'll give you the full story of our AMD Radeon RX 6000 series. And make sure you mark your calendar for November 5th to find Ryzen 5000 series on shelf worldwide. Take care and see you soon. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for this second half of our next-gen PC platform launch. I loved seeing all of your excitement when we introduced the Ryzen 5000 series a few weeks ago. It was actually the most watched launch video in AMD history. And I must say, we're very proud of what Zen 3 brings to gamers. But today is all about Big Navi. I'm really excited to show you the new RDNA 2 architecture and our full stack of Radeon RX 6000 series products. As you know, we brought the first generation of RDNA architecture to market in 2019 with the Radeon RX 5700 XT. And with the combined launch of the 5700 XT and the Ryzen 3000 series, AMD became the first company to introduce a high-performance CPU and GPU together. And we delivered a winning combination of computing and gaming performance, including CPU and GPU of the year in 2019 from PC Gamer. Now, 2020 is really the year of the gamer. I know many of you can't wait to get your hands on the next-gen consoles. Whether it's the Microsoft Xbox Series X and Series S or the Sony PlayStation 5, we are so proud that AMD is enabling these incredible gaming experiences, which is why we like to say that AMD is where gaming begins. Now, earlier this month, I showed you our new AMD Ryzen 5000 series, the world's best gaming processor. Our next-gen Ryzen processor combines absolute performance leadership in single-threaded performance, gaming, and creative workloads with leadership performance per watt. And for millions of you, it's a drop-in upgrade to your existing AM4 motherboard. Now, as successful as we've been with Ryzen, many of you have asked us to compete at the highest end of gaming GPUs as well. And today, we're ready to show you exactly what we've been working on. I'm so excited to show you the Radeon RX 6000 series. It's absolutely the most powerful gaming GPU we've ever built. I think you'll be pretty pleased with what you see. I often talk about the fact that we're on a journey, and we are on a journey. Just like with our Zen CPU architecture, we're on a multi-year journey in GPUs with our RDNA architecture. We designed RDNA specifically for gaming, and our first-gen RDNA products delivered 50% better performance per watt over our GCN architecture. We wanted to take another big step with RDNA 2 and deliver another 50% generational improvement in perf per watt. And with RDNA 2, we also set the very ambitious goal to deliver leadership gaming performance. And now I'm very happy to show you for the first time Big Navi. This is the chip at the heart of our high-end Radeon RX 6000 series. 26.8 billion transistors built with leading-edge 7-nanometer process technology. Big Navi is our first product powered by RDNA 2. We have made incredible progress on the architectural front. And now let me turn it over to AMD fellow Laura Smith to give you more details on the architecture.
Thank you, Lisa. Our graphics architecture roadmap has a clear goal: gaming leadership across the ecosystem. The GCN was a great architecture, but we knew we needed to rethink graphics and build the best engine for the future. We wanted to build a set of technologies that game developers could use across all platforms. The first major step was RDNA, introduced last year. RDNA was a new architecture and used a 7-nanometer process node, which helped us with the large initial gains. We committed to you that our engineers had plans in the works for RDNA 2, and we would be back quickly with another significant improvement. By combining our expertise in CPU design, deep gaming history, and broad ecosystem partnerships, RDNA 2 is built to be the gaming architecture for all gamers across console, PC, and beyond. We had some very ambitious goals with RDNA 2. Significantly higher performance, 50% improvement in performance per watt, and new hardware features. Individually, each of these goals is challenging. When combined, they become extremely difficult because as you push performance, a natural side effect is more power. New features also mean more computation, further challenging both speed and power metrics. For RDNA 2, we made significant gains in all these areas. The compute unit is the core of the architecture. We advanced all aspects of the compute unit design, leveraging techniques first developed in CPUs. We deployed pervasive fine-grained clock gating, reimagined the pipeline to aggressively maximize performance while minimizing data movement. In combination, these elements made the compute units 30% more energy efficient, allowing them to be pushed faster. Gaming at 4K requires more data to be brought into the chip. The amount of data more than doubles as we move from 1440p to 4K. The more efficient the memory subsystem is, the higher fidelity the images are, and the more you can push the frame rates. We took a new approach to solving this technical challenge for gaming and deployed a graphics-optimized, high-density, high-speed cache based on the Zen L3 cache. We call this the Infinity Cache. The Infinity Cache minimizes DRAM bottlenecks, latencies, and power consumption. Our specialized Infinity Cache, combined with a 256-bit G6 interface, delivers more than twice the effective bandwidth of a traditional 384-bit G6 solution and at lower power consumption. High frequency is important for gaming performance. RDNA 2 is built with custom libraries and high-speed design flows, maximizing frequency in 7 nanometer. With RDNA 2, our silicon design and architectural improvements, we are able to deliver 30% faster frequencies in the same 7 nanometer process node. Pulling all this together, the RDNA 2 architecture beats our aggressive performance per watt goal, achieving 54%. With RDNA 2, we also focused on bringing new hardware features into the architecture. We partnered closely with Microsoft on DirectX 12 Ultimate features, including DirectX ray tracing, variable rate shading, mesh shaders, and sampler feedback. RDNA 2 will also support Microsoft Direct Storage API. We're excited about this new API that will enhance the gaming experience by significantly reducing game asset load times from large SSDs. We compared the performance of RDNA 2 to our prior generation, and when we put it all together, on average, RDNA 2 delivers double the performance and with great power efficiency. We are so proud of what we've accomplished with RDNA 2, and we are not stopping. The team is executing to plan, RDNA 2 is here, and the RDNA 3 team is well into execution. Let me welcome Scott Herkelman to show RDNA 2 in our new RX 6000 series products.
Hello to all of the gamers tuning in, and welcome to our Radeon RX 6000 series product reveal. As a hardcore League of Legends and Borderlands 3 player and playing these games on our RX 6000 series over the past few weeks, I'm so excited and proud to be here with you today. Allow me to introduce you to our brand new AMD Radeon RX 6800 XT graphics card. The 6800 XT is purposefully designed to play all of your favorite AAA games at 4K and below resolutions, and at the highest quality settings available. It comes with 72 compute units and runs with a game clock of over 2 gigahertz. This card features a 2.25 gigahertz boost clock that pushes some of the highest frequencies we've ever achieved, all thanks to the incredible work done by our engineering team on the RDNA 2 architecture. The 6800 XT will also feature 128 megabytes of Infinity Cache that is power efficient while driving the bandwidth needed for high resolution gaming. Paired with 16 gigabytes of blazing fast GDDR6 memory, you'll be ready for the most demanding high resolution games that you want to play. And we've delivered all of this incredible performance with a total board power of just 300 watts. As you can see, the 6800 XT not only delivers on 4K 60 frames per second, but in most cases, it overperforms. We've been maxing out all the settings in games like Battlefield 5, Borderlands 3, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and the performance has just been awesome to experience. Let's take a look at how the 6800 XT competes head-to-head against the latest offering from the competition. Here, we compare their best API scores to our best API scores, the best versus the best. And as you can see, the 6800 XT trades blows and has some significant wins across a variety of titles. And it does all of this at less power consumption than the competition. For the 1440p gamers out there, we have some great results for you too. Over the last several years, more and more gamers have adopted 1440p monitors as their display of choice. Here are the same games we showed you before, running the same best versus best API scenario at 1440p resolution. I personally love seeing so many games running at over 100 frames per second with all of the settings maxed out. This is just an incredible amount of performance. All in all, the 6800 XT is a fantastic choice for enthusiast gamers. We even have more performance we are delivering with two very cool features. The first is a one-click overclocking button we've built into our Radeon software package that we call Rage Mode. Now, Rage Mode automatically takes advantage of the overclocking headroom built into your GPU to give you every bit of performance it has to offer. And the second is made possible because of the fact that only AMD can deliver both high-performance processors and high-performance GPUs. We call this new feature AMD Smart Access Memory. AMD Smart Access Memory unlocks the greater amount of high-speed memory from the AMD Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards to the AMD Ryzen 5000 series processors, and it delivers additional levels of performance in games. Simply pair these components with our 500 series chipset motherboards, enable the setting in the BIOS, and the performance uplift becomes automatic. When you combine AMD Smart Access Memory with the one-click overclocking of Rage Mode, you'll get a boost in performance in many of the games you love. We're seeing up to a 13% performance increase, and that's before game developers begin to optimize for this new capability. Now, we know a lot of you absolutely love frames per second performance just like us. However, we can also improve the game experience by reducing latency. The differences of milliseconds of latency in a competitive game can be the difference between a major win and a major loss. Last year, we pushed the industry to recognize there was a better way to provide competitive gamers with less latency from mouse click to the screen, giving competitive gamers who own the RX 5000 series a serious leg up on their competition. Today, we are pushing the boundaries again and further reducing latency in competitive games for even better results. Combining the latest implementation of Radeon Anti-Lag with the FreeSync monitor can reduce lag in your DX9 and in your DX11 games. In Fortnite, for example, gamers can realize up to 8 milliseconds of latency reduction by simply enabling this feature in Radeon software. More recently, we introduced Radeon Boost, a unique feature that's a step beyond anti-lag. For select games, Radeon Boost offers dynamic resolution in response to your mouse or controller inputs, leading to higher frame rates and, as a result, quicker responses to your input. Both Radeon Anti-Lag and Radeon Boost can be enabled via the Radeon software that comes with your graphics cards, and neither of them require a proprietary API or a game integration to provide latency-reducing benefits. As you can see, the combination of these technologies can contribute up to 37% latency reduction in highly competitive games like Fortnite running at 4K. Now, performance is king, but let's talk for a minute about how we are improving the visual experience as well. With full hardware support for DX12 Ultimate, the Radeon RX 6000 series is ready to enable ray tracing and variable rate shading in upcoming titles. We've also expanded our library of Fidelity FX features to work hand in hand with ray tracing, compute, and shader effects to enable the higher level of visual fidelity while ensuring high frame rates. For DX12 Ultimate, we've added an optimized denoiser for ray tracing effects and a variable rate shading algorithm that can adapt image quality based upon luminance and motion. We've also added a suite of compute-based effects to be used alongside ray tracing, like optimized screen space reflections and an optimized ambient occlusion. We're always looking to help developers with new initiatives and are already working on a super resolution feature to give gamers an option for more performance when using ray tracing. As of today, our AMD Fidelity FX supported games list has grown to 35 titles using a variety of our features. So let's take a look at some of these new features in an upcoming game with never-before-seen footage from Counterplay Studios and their fantastic game, Godfall. Godfall is a brand new third-person perspective, next-generation looter slasher that challenges gamers to engage in high-impact melee combat as they hunt for loot, equip legendary armor, and defeat vicious enemies. Leveraging the latest DirectX 12 Ultimate API, Godfall features DirectX ray tracing, variable rate shading, and supports Fidelity FX casts to deliver incredible levels of stunning fidelity. I personally can't wait to play this game, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, let's hear from a few more of our game developer partners about the work they've done with us on RDNA 2 and what you can expect in their games coming soon.
I'm here to talk about Far Cry 6 and some of the new technologies we've been collaborating with AMD on to make our game the most immersive and beautiful Far Cry ever. We've been working together to take full advantage of the new Radeon RX 6000 series and RDNA 2 architecture for best possible experience. We've been very impressed by AMD's latest tech and joined forces to bring Fidelity FX CAS, DXR ray tracing, and variable rate shading to Far Cry 6.
We're using VRS Tier 2 to use a compute shader to generate a control texture which analyzes the luminance and gives us control at an 8x8 tile level as to what shader rate we're going to be using. This enables us to render much more quickly but keep the same quality level.
We're excited to team up with great partners like AMD to bring some new features to World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is built on a custom engine using the DirectX 12 Ultimate API. Another great feature on the RX 6000 is DXR ray tracing. Here you can see ray tracing evident in how the shadows are interacting with your character. What you're seeing involves incredibly complex computations on the RX 6000. This is a level of realism that hasn't been possible until recently.
The RDNA 2 architecture and the Radeon 6000 series allowed us to introduce some of the latest DirectX 12 Ultimate technologies into our engine. Real-time ray-traced shadows allow us to introduce additional shadow casting lights into the scene that provide much more immersion and detail into the world.
Over the next few weeks, developers of these incredible games will show never-before-seen gameplay with gorgeous graphics that use a combination of ray tracing and fidelity effects running on the Radeon RX 6000 series graphics cards. Be sure to check out amd.com starting tomorrow to see more. I'm happy to announce that the Radeon RX 6800 XT will be available on November 18th, starting at $649. But we are not done yet. Today, we are also announcing the Radeon RX 6800 with 60 compute units, a 1.815 gigahertz game clock with a boost clock of over 2.1 gigahertz. It will feature the same 128 megabytes of Infinity cache and be available with 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory with a board power of just 250 watts. The Radeon RX 6800 is a fantastic entry into 4K gaming, delivering more performance than the 2080 Ti, which was launched at $999. The 6800 delivers over 60 frames per second in all of these games, giving you the confidence you need to step into the 4K gaming experience. That same great performance extends to 1440p resolution, where the RX 6800 tears through the latest games, delivering about 18% more performance than the 2080 Ti on average. The Radeon RX 6800 will be available to gamers starting at a price of $579 on November 18th. Now, let's bring back Lisa to wrap things up.
Thanks, Scott and Laura. The AMD Radeon 6800 XT and 6800 deliver simply incredible 4K and 1440p gaming experiences. This is the power of RDNA 2. And once we add the smart access memory technology, gamers can even get higher frames per second when pairing Radeon 6000 GPUs with Ryzen 5000 series. Now, I saw online that some of you were wondering which big Navi product we previewed during our Ryzen 5000 launch earlier this month. For the record, that was the 6800 XT. But you know, we always save the best for last, and I always get the most fun jobs. So today, that means I have one more GPU to show you. We didn't stop with the Radeon RX 6800 XT. We knew that the RDNA 2 architecture could give gamers even more. I'm so excited to share with you for the very first time the AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT. Now, isn't this just absolutely gorgeous? And you'll see that it's actually relatively compact for all the performance that it delivers. It's actually the same size as our 6800 XT card. Our top-of-the-stack Radeon GPU is built for the ultimate in 4K gaming performance. The 6900 XT combines 80 compute units with a 2.25 GHz boost clock to deliver even more performance at the highest settings. With 16 gigabytes of graphics memory, the 6900 XT is ready for the most demanding next-gen games. And with the power efficiency of RDNA 2, we've been able to deliver all of this with a total board power of 300 watts. Now, Laura showed you that we achieved a 54% generational improvement in perf per watt with the 6800 XT. With the 6900 XT, we improved things even more, hitting 65% more performance per watt over first-gen RDNA. I'm so proud of our engineers who worked incredibly hard to optimize every aspect of RDNA 2 to achieve this performance. Now let's see how all of this translates to gaming performance. Running at 4K with the highest settings, the 6900 XT looks absolutely fantastic. It's extremely competitive across the board, consistently delivering high frame rates in your favorite games. Just take a look at the performance we see against the competition in Battlefield 5, Call of Duty, and Gears of War 5. All of this is at lower power with a smaller card form factor. Now, let's talk about price and availability. The AMD Radeon RX 6900 XT will be available on December 8th, starting at $999. You asked for AMD to bring the highest graphics performance to the gaming market, and we're doing just that. I hope you now feel that with the Ryzen 5000 series and the Radeon 6000 series, AMD is your best choice for your next generation PC gaming platform. Whether you want a game with ultimate performance in AAA titles at 4K resolution, or you're an esports fan who needs incredibly high frame rates and responsiveness, across the board, for every gamer, at every price, AMD has the CPU and GPU combination for you. So I hope you're as excited as we are. We can't wait to get these products in your hands. So look for the Ryzen 5000 series starting November 5th, the Radeon RX 6800 series starting November 18th, and the Radeon RX 6900 XT starting December 8th. To wrap up here, this has been quite a journey for us. And I'm incredibly proud of our CPU and GPU teams who have worked years for this moment. AMD is delivering the best to the industry. We want to thank all of you for your passion and enthusiasm and for always pushing us to be the best.